Hi, and welcome back to a new 5-part series of Cooking with Nick. I'm Nick Rizzo, and during this session, I will show you with a little pre-planning how to produce a 4-course, delicious and healthy meal in under an hour. So sit back, relax, grab a pencil and paper to take notes so you can make this meal at home. Okay, you have the recipes in front of you. What we're going to do tonight, we have a greens and fennel salad. If you've never had fennel, fennel is it's a bulb, and it has an anise flavor to it. So not real strong, but it's a nice little crunch. It's kind of like a big celery, that kind of a crunchy stuff. And we're going to put some craisins that are going to be marinated in fresh orange juice, and walnuts and all kinds of stuff in it. So we're going to make like a balsamic dressing for it. So that'll be our salad. The entree we're going to have tonight is baked spaghetti with vegetables, which is kind of like it has noodles on the bottom. It has 3 kinds of cheeses in the middle. It has fresh vegetables in the middle, another layer of noodles on top, and then we're going to put a meat sauce on top of that with some mozzarella cheese, and we're going to bake it. Okay, so we're going to start making that first, but we'll do that first. And then we're going to do parsley pesto cheese toast, which is a fancy name for bread with some pesto on it and cheese, and we're going to put it in the oven and melt it all. So it's a nice little accompaniment to the pasta. It's a little different than just having regular garlic bread. It's a little different. We're going to make some fresh pesto. I'll show you how to. That's real easy to make. You go to the store and buy that. It's very expensive. Okay, I'll show you how to make it. It's real easy. We're going to make a parsley pesto. We're going to use parsley walnuts instead of pine nuts. Instead of basil, we're going to use parsley. We're going to put a little nutmeg in it and some garlic and Parmesan cheese. And we're going to spread that on with slices of tomato and then mozzarella cheese on top of that, and some fontina cheese, which is a real soft, melting kind of cheese. We'll put that on, stick that in, so that'll be good. And then for dessert, we're going to do Italian rum cups or amaretto cups. I brought both. So, you know, if we decide what we want to do, maybe I'll do half and half, and we'll go from there. And the rest I'll just drink. So, but my wife goes, there you go, bringing the alcohol to school again. So I said, okay. Okay, so what we're going to do, I'm going to start with the baked spaghetti and vegetables. So we'll be on item number 2. And I want to get that in the oven, so by the time you have your salad and everything, that should be ready. We'll get that in the oven. We'll do the pesto toast. We'll get those ready to go in. We'll make the salad. You'll eat the salad. By the time you finish the salad, the entree and the side should be ready. And then we'll get on to the dessert. The dessert is another one. You know me with desserts. If it takes more than 10 minutes, I won't make it. So, you know, so it's a real quick dessert, down and dirty, good, easy to do. Again, with my old friend pound cake, you know, plopped with some a faux pastry cream. I'll show you how to make a fake pastry cream with some berries on it, some fresh berries that were frozen but they're defrosted. Put that on top with some slivered almonds on top. So we'll go from there. A real quick dessert. This you could make way ahead. You could make it ahead, stick it in your freezer, okay, take it out. And as a matter of fact, if you're going to make 2. You know, we're going to make 1 big pan, but make 2 small pans, put 1 in the freezer, and then if you have company or something, take it out and it's ready to go. Then you just have to bake it. So it's a total make ahead. Okay? You could also make this ahead like the night before or the day before, leave it in your refrigerator. When you're ready to bake it, just take it out, let it come to room temperature a little bit, stick it in, you're ready to go. Okay? So I'm going to start with the pasta. Now, you know me with pasta. You can always pre-cook pasta. You don't have to wait till the last minute to cook pasta. So we're going to use very thin noodles, okay, like you use in soup. Okay, so we're going to put those on the bottom. Let me just give my hands a quick wash here before I start touching anything. So you can pre-cook any kind of pasta. All you have to do is just put it in a bag like that. You cook it for about 3 or 4 minutes less than it calls for on the package. Okay, especially if you're going to use it in a casserole. Okay, I always pre-cook it. So if you know, sitting around on Sunday night or whatever, and you're thinking about what you're going to have for the rest of the week, and you know you're going to have pasta, that, you know, go ahead and make it. And then even if you're just going to have like spaghetti or meatballs or whatever, you can just put it in the boiling water for about 3 minutes and finish cooking it. Okay, so you're all ready to go. So these noodles are the real thin noodles. They only take 3 minutes to cook. So I put them in the water, and they were in there for about 2 minutes. Okay, put them in.
Noodles. Is that like angel hair, or is it
It's not angel hair. It's like, you know, like the Muller's, like egg noodles and stuff like that. They have wide, thin, small, you know, that's what it is. So it's the real thin noodles. Okay, so you put that in. So then you put a little bit of olive oil in the bag, just, you know, massage it a little bit so they don't stick, and they're fine. So this is going to be our first layer. So I'm just going to put that in. Okay, so just put that in your pan. Spread that around. You can see that this, if you're going to, you know, I doubled the recipe because we have 16 people here. So when you make this, that 1 package, that 1 pound package would be enough to make your whole 9 by 13 casserole. Okay, so don't think you have to make 2 packages. Okay, so we got that in. What we're going to put in there is, I'm going to deviate from the recipe a little bit. You know these recipes always work because I do them, but when I cook up here, it's a totally different story, okay? Because I never really use a recipe. So we're going to put some fresh vegetables in here. And what you can use, you know, whatever kind of vegetables you want. So I had some broccoli in my refrigerator. So we're going to take broccoli, and it's still the broccoli crowns. I just chopped it up. So we're going to throw that in here. I know in your recipe it says mix the cheese mixture and then mix it together. I'm just going to put the cheese mixture over it. Okay, you can do it either way, whatever way you want to do it. Okay, this is fresh asparagus that I just chopped up. Okay, so nothing is cooked. These vegetables are all fresh. Okay, so I'm going to throw that in. And I have some orange and red bell pepper that I chopped up. So again, I'm going to throw that in. And then I want a little more in here. You know, you could put onion in, you could put spinach, you could put whatever kind of vegetables you have available, okay? I had some peas. I took out a bag of peas, and I only used half a package, so I had the rest. So my wife thought she was going to have peas tonight, but too bad. So she'll go look for them. They won't be there. So, okay, so just going to take the vegetables and spread them around. And that's basically why when I did the original recipe, I said to mix it in with the cheese, because it just gets all incorporated, and then you don't have to worry about spreading it around. You can just spread it around, and that's fine. Now we're going to make the cheese filling. Now the cheese, you're going to have a package of cream cheese, and you want it to be at room temperature, you know, fairly soft. So what I did right before you guys came in, I stuck this in the microwave. So it takes care of that. Okay, we're going to add, you can use cottage cheese if you have that, or you could use ricotta cheese. And we're going to use the ricotta cheese. And I know it says about a cup, so we'll see. I like cheese. That looks about 2 cups, right? Okay, and then to make it really smooth and give it a little bit of zing, we're going to add some sour cream. Okay, and I use regular sour cream, not diet and all that stuff. You know, I don't like all that. So, okay, so we got that going. We got that in there, and we're just going to mix this up real well. And you want it to be nice and smooth. If this cream cheese is a little hard, you can take your hand mixer and just mix it and blend it up, or take a whisk. Okay, so it's kind of like a Cheater's lasagna is what when you're getting here, you know. So okay, so I'm going to put that in. Now we're going to add a little bit of crushed red. Got to give it a little kick. So put a little bit of that in there. And some salt and pepper. Now I'm going to put Parmesan cheese in here, so be careful with the salt and pepper. Again, salt and pepper, 50% salt, 50% pepper. Okay. On top of this, we're going to put a meat sauce on the final layer and then bake it, so it'll have some flavor from the meat. Okay. So we got that in there. Get that mixed up. I'm going to add a little bit of Parmesan cheese in here, just to give it a little tang. Now, usually I have Parmesan and Romano. This is just plain Parmesan. Okay, get that mixed up. If you get the ricotta cheese or the cottage cheese, and sometimes it's looser, you know, it's not as thick as this. You know, sometimes you buy it. You could either put it in a coffee filter or a paper towel in a strainer and drain it a little bit, get some of the moisture out of it. Or if you're afraid it's not going to hold together, put an egg in there, okay? And then when you bake it, the egg will bind it, okay? So it'll. Okay, so what we're going to do with this is we're going to plop this on top. And you don't have to really worry about getting it all even, because what will happen is the cheese will melt and it'll spread. So it's like if you make lasagna, you know, it's always hard to get that spread. Put it in one of those gallon baggies, okay, and then cut the bottom off and just pipe it in, okay? Then you don't have to worry about spreading it around because all the stuff starts to move in places you don't want it to move. So just pipe it in, or just layer it in like I'm doing here. Okay, make sure we get that all in there, and just give it a quick splash. Okay, so we get that in. Now the next layer is going to be a layer of noodles again. Now the sauce part you can do two different ways, and I'll show you how to make it the easy way. Okay, so we're going to put some more noodles on top. If you don't have these noodles or you can't find them and you want to use thin spaghetti, go ahead. I mean, you could use, you know, thin spaghetti for this. We used to make this all the time when my kids were little because it's a good way to get kids to eat vegetables, or a good way to get adults to eat vegetables. You know, so because they like all the cheese and all that other stuff. So, okay, I got that in there. Not going to probably not use all of that. It's quite a bit of noodles. Okay. Now we're going to put the sauce on top, and I have some spaghetti sauce. You can use whatever jarred sauce. You make homemade sauce, you can use it, jarred sauce, whatever. You know, this, I had this in my refrigerator that I made. And this is ground beef. You can use ground turkey, you can use whatever you want. And what I do is, you know when you go to the store, they have those, you buy 6 pounds, and you get 25 other things with it, you know, and you always, boy, that's a good deal, and you never use the other stuff. Right. So, you know, but, so what do? Instead of having like 8 packages of ground beef in your freezer, cook it. Okay, cook it, put some salt and pepper, a little pepper, crushed red pepper in it, season it, put it in a baggie like this, and put it in like 1 pound packages. Then when you want to make tacos, you're all done. All you got to do is put the taco seasoning in there, and you're ready to go. You want to make a casserole, you just pull it out, you're ready to go. So you have, the beef is already cooked. To me, that's always the messiest part. You know, it's all over the stove, you know. So you could take this sauce, mix it in with the, take the meat, mix it in with the sauce, and make a meat sauce, or whatever you want to do. But I'm just going to pour this over the top, and then I'm going to put the sauce over the top. Okay, so you can do it either way. And again, well, might as well. This bag, this was 2 pounds in here. So just spread it out. Okay. And now I'm going to pour the sauce over that. Okay. So this is just regular marinara sauce. If you wanted to save yourself a step and you buy your sauce instead of making it, just buy a meat sauce. You know, save yourself a little time there. Or you can just use mushroom sauce or whatever kind you want. I don't particularly like meat sauce in a jar, but okay, so get that on top. Make sure you put enough sauce because it's going to sink down in. Okay. Now I'm going to sprinkle some mozzarella cheese and some Parmesan cheese on top. Okay. And some shredded mozzarella cheese. And then I'm going to cover it with, loosely cover it with some foil and get it in the oven, because it takes about a good 25 minutes for this everything is really cooked. You just want to really heat it through and get the cheese melted. Okay. Yeah, a little more. Okay, so we got that going. Get my foil. This weighs about 40 pounds, so you got to, you know. But of course, if you're making a small one, you don't have to worry about it. Okay. This is a great one to make if you have company, or if you go into a potluck. You know, take this. It feeds like 1,000 people. You know, so depending on, you know, how big you make it. So I'm gonna get that in the oven. Okay, make sure I don't forget that, Carolyn. Did I get everything in it?
Good.
Okay. Carolyn's my watchdog. She tells me if I forgot stuff or whatever. So, okay, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make the pesto. So, pesto is one of those things that's real easy to make. This is a brand new food processor that I'm going to try and use. That the school bought. So, okay, got that going. Basically, we're going to make the pesto. We're going to use parsley. Okay, again, when you buy parsley, take it home, put it in a dry paper, rinse it off, put it in a dry paper towel, not a wet one. Okay, because the paper towel will absorb the moisture. Otherwise, the parsley will get all mushy. Okay, you take the top off. And don't worry if you get a few stems in there, because what's going to happen is, you know, it's going to chop up. So, and you could use basil if you want. Okay, so we get that going. I'm going to add garlic. It's the same thing if you're using basil. The same process. Okay, put some garlic in there. I'm going to use, instead of pine nuts, I'm going to use walnuts. Okay, pine nuts are about $15 a half a pound. So use walnuts. They're all ground up. Nobody really knows. So, so we put those in. Okay, now to this I'm going to add a little bit of nutmeg, just to give it a little different taste. Okay, get that in. Then we're going to drizzle in some olive oil. I'm going to put the Parmesan cheese in at the very end. Because what I find, though, is if you put the Parmesan cheese in too early and you put it in the food processor, the heat from the blade will melt the cheese and it gets sticky. Okay, so just put that in at the very end, because you don't want the cheese to melt. You want the flavor of the cheese. Okay, so we're going to put a little bit of this in just to see how this is going to figure out what's going on here. Hey, okay. I guess that stops when you pull that out. Okay, let's see what kind of a consistency we have here. Right now, that's a little thick. I can see it. So I'm going to just come in, brush down the sides. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit of salt and pepper, not a whole lot, because we're going to put the cheese in. Okay, got to have pepper. Put a little bit of that in there. Okay, I'm going to add a little more olive oil. Now remember, if you make pesto, no matter what kind you make, you could always make a lot of it. You always think you're going to have a lot of it. If you want to freeze it, put it in an ice cube tray. Okay, make the pesto, put it in an ice cube tray, and you have the little cubes. Pop them out, put them in a baggie in your freezer. Okay, you don't even have, if you want to use it, you don't even have to defrost them. Each cube will be a one serving if you're making a dinner. So you make the pasta, it'll be hot, take it right out of the boiling water, put the cubes on the bottom, Put the hot pasta on the top, let it sit for about a minute, and it'll all melt, and then toss it. Okay? So you can always have pesto. It's the same process that you make like red pepper pesto. Instead of using the greens, you use red peppers. Okay, so you make red pepper pesto, same thing. Or you can use sun-dried tomatoes. You make sun-dried tomatoes. Everything else is the same. Okay, so you could have a variety of different kinds of dips. Okay, looks good. Okay, and that's all it is to pesto. That's all that is. I always, in the summertime, we always plant like tons of basil because it's like one of the only things that the deer don't eat. So, but they ate like everything in our garden last year except eggplant. They don't like eggplant, celery, and basil. Now, my wife said they didn't eat the celery because they probably wanted some dip next to it. I said, yeah, okay.
Have you put the Parmesan cheese in now too, or you wait till?
I'm going to mix it in, the cheese.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to put the cheese. I'm going to, because I don't want it to get real mushy. How does this thing come out? Oh, well. I don't know. Come here, Carolyn, help me with this. How does this blade come out?
I don't think it does.
You don't think the blade, do you think this doesn't come out? Hey, oh, well.
What's on the side of it? Maybe at the bottom.
We'll put it in a bowl.
What's on the side? There's directions, like turn it over. What's it say there? Are they going to screw underneath it?
No, it just says chop mix with the blade, and then it has a shred and a slicer thing.
Oh, we'll put it in underneath and see the screws off. Does it screw off underneath?
Oh, I'm not going to take the whole screw out. Get out of here. Well, thanks for the suggestion. But oh, here it comes. Here, it just came off.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, okay. I probably broke it. Okay. So this is still a little bit thick to me, but we're going to use it as a spread, so we'll see what happens. Okay, a little bit of Parmesan cheese. Ooh, could smell that garlic. Now remember, this is parsley and walnut, so it's not going to taste like basil. So, okay, so we have the consistency like that. If you're going to stick it in your freezer, you may want to make it a little bit looser, so you add a little more oil to it. Okay. So what I'm going to do with this is take the bread, and I just have some slices of Italian bread, okay, that I did. So what I'm going to do is spread that on there. I guess I could use a knife, but I don't want to get more on with the spoon. Notice the difference in the color when you make your own pesto. You buy it in the store, it's like that really, really khaki dark green. Okay. And as you saw, it took us like 5 minutes to make. It's not really that hard to make, so. Okay, I got that. I have some more because I know you people like to eat. So that's it. And what you can do is, if you're going to have a lot of people come, go get the bread that's a day old. It's a lot cheaper because you're going to bake it anyway. So you want it to get hard. So don't spend. You save yourself about $1.50 a loaf. Okay, so we're getting that on. And you can see that little bit made enough for about 20-something slices, whatever I have here. So. Let me steal some of this over here. That's yours, Chuck. That one. Okay, just spread it out. Because again, what will happen is it'll spread with the oil in it from the heat. And I'm not gonna toast one side and then flip it over and toast it again, because that's too much time. So I mean, it just gets toasted. So. Okay. So we're almost there. And we're going to put some fontina cheese. We're going to put 2 different kinds of cheeses on this. And I put parchment paper on the bottom of this, so it's a less cleanup. You can use aluminum foil if you don't have parchment paper. I tell you, you'll like this instead of garlic bread, because I can tell you right now I have a garlic high from this. Okay. I can tell you. So we got that. So we're going to put some mozzarella cheese on it. And if you think this is a little bit dry, then you could maybe at the end we'll drizzle some olive oil on it, just to catch up with it. Now what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to time this so I get this in the oven, and these will be ready about almost the same time as the casserole that's in there. So, but this is total do-ahead. You can get this all put together, have it off to the side in your refrigerator, or extra refrigerator you have down in the basement, and then when you're ready to go, just to bring it out and stick it in the oven. I like to do stuff way ahead, because if you have company for dinner, you don't want to spend all your time in the kitchen. You want to enjoy their company. So, but you want to have a nice meal for them too. So you can get everything ready ahead of time. Plus, I don't want them in my kitchen. I'm a solo chef. I don't like people helping me, especially my wife. But she's a good cook, but she will use every pan, every pot that you have in the house, and then at the end, she goes, "Okay, I made dinner, you clean up." Okay. But I'll keep her. Okay. So this we have 24 slices here, so you kind of have an idea. So like 2 cups of cheese would be enough for 12 slices that you're going to make. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to put some fontina cheese on there. Fontina cheese, you're not going to find fontina cheese shredded. So it's a very soft, mild cheese, but it's got a real, kind of like a nutty flavor, so, and it's real smooth. It's kind of like butter. It's kind of like a buttery texture. Well, first you have to get it out of the package. Come on, Wegmans, did you think I was going to steal this and eat it? You can't even get it out of the package. Okay. You see, it's real buttery. Okay, and if you're going to have a problem, if you want to shred this like in a food processor, instead of one of these, stick it in your freezer for about 5 minutes. Okay, same thing with fresh mozzarella. Put it in the freezer for a couple minutes, 5-10 minutes, and you take it out. It's much easier to shred. Okay, you can see how quickly this shreds. Okay, let's see what we have. Okay. This cheese will melt and spread, so you don't have to really put tons of it on. What else goes on here, Carolyn? Anything else?
Tomato.
Tomato. Oh, the tomato. Oh, I forgot to put the tomato on. Crap. I'll put it on top. Okay, I'll get the rest of these. You know what? Tomatoes this time of the year are lousy, so so I'll put it on top. Then I'm going to drizzle olive oil, and it'll help cook. Usually what I do with tomatoes this time of the year is roast them, because the roasting is the best way to bring out the flavor. Now, you saw me doing this, and you knew that tomato was going under there. Why didn't you tell me?
I thought it'd be pretty on the top.
Sure. You want to make me look stupid on television. I know, Carolyn.
No, I just don't help
I look
watch the
stupid
news
when I'm
all
not on television, so don't worry about it. Okay, so we got that on. Has anyone never tasted Fontina? Taste it? Have you had Fontina? Jackie? Don't lie to me. You've never tasted it here. It's good. It's very soft, very buttery. You really like that. It's one of my favorite cheeses. I like that. Okay. So I'm going to get the tomatoes and put those on to get cleaned up here a little bit. And make sure when you're slicing tomatoes that you use a serrated knife. Okay, the easiest way to get them. Okay. See, I had the tomatoes. I had them back there. You know. Okay. Ooh. Okay. And what I'll do is I'll drizzle olive oil over the top of those, and then it'll help them brown up a little bit. You know, this time of the year, you cut these tomatoes. They don't smell like tomatoes. You know, they don't have that taste. Okay, it's one tray. He's going. The only kind of tomatoes you could really buy that have a little bit of a taste during this time of the year are the Roma tomatoes. That's usually what I buy. When you make these, you want to kind of get tomatoes that are going to be the size to fit on the bread, you know. So look at the tomatoes when you buy them. Make sure they're going to fit on your toast. Again, this is one of those things. If you have, you know, you have those people that want to come in your kitchen and help. Tell them to do this. You know, can I help you? Yeah, here, put this together. This is how it goes. You know, keep them busy for a while. You know, and they have to concentrate because they're using a knife, so then they can't talk a lot. You know, so keeps them out of your hair. Okay, so we got those going. Let me sprinkle a little bit of salt and pepper on these because these don't have any taste. Oops, I forgot one. That's yours, Chuck. Oh, that's Jeanette's. The one with no tomato. Okay, I'm going to drizzle some olive oil on top. And we're going to just a little. You really don't want a whole lot on there. If you wanted to give them a little zing, you could put a little balsamic vinegar on there also. You know, that'll give them a little. Actually, what you could do with these, if you didn't want to use tomato on here, you could actually put some nice slices of fresh asparagus. Put that across the top. You know, just a little bit different. I love asparagus. I like asparagus, and especially when it's in season. Okay, so we have those, and let's see if I have room in here. I'm going to take the foil off of that. Okay. Looks good. I'm going to put one in here, and then I'll put one in this oven. You got to wait for this. I thought there were 3 racks in there, but there's only 2, so we'll have to wait for that. Okay, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start working on the salad. And let me just clean this up a little.
You have 5 more minutes on the casserole.
5 minutes? Thank you. I'm not so much worried about the casserole as the toast, you know. Casserole can get as hot as it wants. It'll be okay. Okay, this salad is real easy. And I'm going to use, I know, you always laugh every time I bring this out, but it's the only big bowl they have here, you know, so I'll put it there. And we're going to take some greens. Just the mixed greens. We're just going to pop them in there. This is a spring mix. You know. We're going to add to this some radicchio, which is looks like a red cabbage. And some onion. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to take these craisins. Okay, I'm going to marinate them in fresh orange juice because we're going to put that on top. So we're going to put in there. Just give that a roll. Get the most juice out of it. If you wanted to, you could marinate these in Grand Marnier. You know, with a little bit of water. Oops. This is just to get them a little plump and gives them a little citrus flavor. Because we're going to use it, we're going to make a balsamic dressing for this. The balsamic is sweet. I'm going to use 2 different kinds of oranges. That was just a regular navel orange. This is a Mineola. The juice in this is a little sweeter. Also, this has seeds in it, so make sure you squeeze it this way so the seeds stay in. Okay. My sister has one of these trees in her yard in Florida. Delicious. Okay, so we can give that a little stir around. Put that off to the side. Let that go. Okay, this is radicchio, and it has a slightly bitter taste to it. It's not real sweet. Okay, so looks like this. Looks like a little cabbage. Sometimes you find them bigger, but we're going to slice this real thin, so you really don't need a big head of it. Okay, so. Cut it in half. There's that big core. It's like cabbage. You want to take that core out. Okay, so we got that. Okay, then we're just going to get it into little slivers. And again, it's going to look like coleslaw. Okay, into the hot tub. Then we're going to add some slices of red onion to this, which I have over here. Let me show you what the fennel looks like first. There's about 3 cranberries in here. This is what fennel looks like if you've never seen fennel. Okay, comes in like a big bulb like this. Okay, so we'll probably use 2 of these. Okay, I like fennel roasted. take the bulb, quarter it, put it in the oven with some olive oil on it, a little salt and pepper, roast it, and it gets a real sweet flavor. Okay, I'm going to pop these in. Let's check these. Looking good. Okay, so the fennel, what you want to do with the fennel is you got to cut off this part. Okay. And you could throw it in the neighbor's yard or whatever you want to do with it, you know, compost pile or whatever you want to do with it. But as soon as you cut it, you get that whiff of anise flavor. Okay, so you're going to cut it down. And we're going to cut them in fairly small strips. Okay, this also has a core in here that you want to make sure you get that out. Okay, it's a fairly large core, so you might as well just cut right through it. If you cut it in half, you see where the core is? Just cut it like that. Take your knife and go like that, and you can get the core right out. Again, be careful. Make sure your fingers are curled in. Otherwise, you'll have finger food. Okay. Get that core out. Fennel is used a lot in, people use it, make a lot of soups with it. It's always in a kind of a soup. It's like when you make like leek soup, you know, you can use fennel in place of leeks. It has a different flavor, but you could, a lot of people use that instead. Okay. You're going to be eating soon. Don't turn ugly on me here. You know, again, everybody's looking. Okay, so basically we have almost everything in here. It's just going to make the dressing and toss it. Okay. Get that cleaned off. Okay. I'll put a little bit of red onion in it. You know, I don't think we need a whole lot of onion. We have the fennel in there. Remember, again, if you have the onion, cut the top part off. This is where the root is. Leave the root there. Okay? Cut through the root. And then peel it off. Because, again, it's easier to slice if you leave that on there. So it's not sliding all over the place. Then you have that piece and you just throw it away. Scrunch it all up. Okay, now we're going to make the dressing, which is very simple. I'm going to use olive oil right here, some balsamic vinegar. This is just plain, this is regular balsamic vinegar. You could use white if you want, white balsamic vinegar. And I have my whisk. Okay, these are sliced almonds, okay, that are toasted. And I found these in the store today. They're sliced almonds that are already toasted. So you could buy them and you don't have to toast them. So it's from Fresh Gourmet, and I found them right in Tops. So you can sprinkle some of those on. I'm one of those people that puts the thing on and, you know, you're toasting it and then like I'm running around and all of a sudden you're throwing them away. So, okay, so we got that in there. We have our cranberries over here, which look good. Now there's going to be the little citrusy flavor in there. Okay. We're going to make the dressing. So we're going to put some balsamic vinegar in here. Balsamic vinegar is one of those things that you could use for desserts. take like a half a cup of balsamic vinegar, put it in a pot and let it simmer, until it reduces to about half, and it gets like that consistency of cough syrup, but it's very, very, very sweet. Try mixing it with some strawberries. You can mix it with strawberries and serve it on top of vanilla ice cream. Okay, in Italy, that's a big dessert, just balsamic vinegar and strawberries. Okay, they just have that, as a regular dessert. So it's very good. Okay, I usually use like half and half when I make a vinaigrette. So depending on how vinegary you like it. Okay, put a little bit of salt and pepper. Okay. Gotta have, my friend, a little dash of that. Okay.
Put that in the dessert too.
Huh?
Are you going to put that in the dessert?
Just yours. Okay, now I'm going to whisk it. Okay, and that's it. This is a total do-ahead. You can put all this together. There's no dressing on here yet. You can do this in the afternoon, leave it in the refrigerator. If you're going to make a salad and you don't want the dressing on the side or whatever, put the dressing in first on the bottom. Then put the lettuce on top of it and everything on top. Okay, so then your lettuce doesn't get soggy. Okay, so you can do that about 2 hours ahead. Put the dressing on the bottom, and then when you're ready to go, just toss it. Okay, that's like when when you're serving potato chips and you buy the bag, like the big ones are always on top, and then the bottom's all crumbs. Open the bag up from the bottom up. Okay, and then put it in the bowl. So when you put it in the bowl, all the good chips are on top. Sneaky, huh? Old catering tricks, I'm telling you. You think you're getting all those big chips, on the bottom's all crumbs. Okay, so I'm just going to put the dressing on. And I'm going to use almost all of this because this is a big salad, as you can tell. This would be like a salad like for an Italian family. So, if they're coming over. Okay, so that's ready to go. Just give it a little toss. Okay, I'll put this over there. Salt and pepper's over here if you want to add more salt and pepper on your own. I'm going to put this over there. This is the part where you have to get up and serve yourself. Okay, so, because I'm not passing this around. Okay, there's some bowls here. You can have your salad. Napkins and everything is over there, okay? I'll clean up. I'm going to check on what's going on in here. Good. That looks good. Okay. Now that, if you leave that in there long enough, the cheese on top will start to get like that little crust on it. So if you like that, leave it in there a little bit longer. I'm going to leave it in there a little bit longer. By the time you get your salad done, we'll be ready to eat. Okay, I'm going to take the, some of you like the salad, some like the dressing, some didn't like the ingredients in it, but that's part of why you're here, to try and experiment, try different things. So I'm glad you at least ate it. So I'm going to take the toast out of the oven and the casserole out of the oven, and I'm going to move it over there. Okay, so I'll put it up here first, and then you guys can eat that. And while you're eating that, I'm going to start getting stuff ready for dessert. Look at the time. It's only 7:30. So an hour, we basically have almost all 4 courses done. The dessert takes about 2 minutes. So it's a real quick, down and dirty meal. Okay, this has a nice, you can see it has a nice crust on it. I could, lift it up a little bit. So if you like that crust on it, you leave it in there till it gets nice and baked. Or if you're in a hurry, put it under the broiler for a couple of seconds. It'll get that crust on it. Okay, so we got that. And the toast. Those are ready to go. And once you get up a little closer, you can see like the fontina cheese. The mozzarella cheese is underneath it, and the fontina cheese is like melting right over it. There's a nice little crust on that. Okay, I'm going to clear that spot over there. So take a deep breath, because now you got to eat again. Okay, so move this out of the way. And move the casserole over there. Got to find a big spoon to serve it.
Nick, would you slice that like in squares? So the casserole, would you slice it in squares?
Well, it might not hold together. You know, you could try it, but if you want to do it that way, put the egg in the cheese, because then it'll firm it up. You know, and then if you want to cut it in squares, let it sit for a little while, and then it probably would work. I've never done it that way, but okay. Okay. I always have visions of dropping that. I said,
Yeah.
okay, I'm going to move these. Let me just scrape it up. Put it on. 7-second roll. What is it? 5 seconds? Okay. Okay, I'll put these over here so you can help yourself to those. Here's the dish. There's napkins, plates. Go for that, and I'll start getting dessert ready. Okay? Enjoy. Okay, so we're going to start dessert. Now this again, you can see up here in the front what I have is we're going to use pound cake as the base. You can use any kind of cake you want. You can use angel food cake. You know, sometimes they have angel food cake on sale, buy one, get one free. Buy it. You know, stick it in your freezer and use it. Angel food cake never freezes really hard, so you take it right out of the freezer and you just slice it, and it's not hard. I mean, so you can use it right away. Okay, same thing with pound cake. Pound cake never really gets hard. So you take it out, leave it on your counter for about 5 minutes, and you're ready to go. Or you can get those little, I was really surprised the other time we used those little sponge cake cups that they sell in the store, usually by the fruit section. I was surprised that people had never seen those before. You know, some people said, oh, where'd you get those? You know, so you could use those. Or again, you could use those little graham cracker crusts for the same dessert. Okay, so you can do the same thing. You fill those little graham cracker crusts with the mixture we're going to make. So this is a mixture. Instead of making like pastry cream, which takes like forever to make, this is like a faux pastry cream. It's like a simple little fake out. Okay, so we're going to take a tub of whipped topping, Cool Whip, whatever you want to use. As soon as I find the spoons. Okay, so we're going to put one of these in the bowl. Okay, and this in itself, if you want to take this and you want to dress it up a little bit, and you want people to think that like you made the whipped topping, just add some kind of flavoring to it. Put like little lemon zest, or a little bit of lemon flavoring, or a little orange zest, or add a little vanilla or some mint flavoring, and then just whip it in there. And then they'll say, oh, that's Cool Whip? Yeah. You know, well, no, it's not. I made it. Yeah, so, you know. So you can put that in. I'm going to, well, we'll see how much we end up with. Okay, and we're going to use these little pudding cups. Okay, and the pudding cups, what the pudding cups do is give it some body. You know, because pastry cream has a little body to it. So we're going to use the pudding cups instead. Now, if you want it to be chocolate, you use chocolate pudding. Okay, so you do that. So this is just plain old vanilla pudding cups. You know, 10 for you know, $10 there, $1 a piece. Okay, I'm going to put 2 in here, and we're going to see what the consistency is like. Okay, this again you could make up ahead and leave it in your refrigerator. Mix it all up, put it back in a container, and leave it in your refrigerator. Okay. You could use this chocolate. You could use butterscotch. You could use. They have lemon pudding if you wanted a lemon flavor. Okay. So what we want to do now is just kind of like fold it in. You don't really want to mix it with the mixer because you would take all the air out of it. Okay. Okay. So to me, that whole container, I'm going to add another cup. I mean, not as if you're breaking the bank by using these. I mean, so you might as well just throw it in there. Okay. I used to make this for my kids when they were little all the time. They just loved it. You know, it's like, and you know, if you're into that, you want to use fat-free Cool Whip and fat-free pudding. I mean, you could do that, but I just think all that fat-free stuff has so much more sugar and carbs in it that you might as well just eat the regular stuff. Okay. Okay, so that has a lot more body to it now than just plain whipped topping. Okay. Okay, now we have to decide, do we want amaretto or do we want rum? Rum? Guys, a bunch of drunks. Okay, so we'll use the rum. We're going to put a little bit of rum in. Is this going to bother you if we put this in here? No, it's just like a capful. Okay. So baby will appreciate it. So I'm going to put just a little bit. If you don't want to use alcohol, you could use like rum flavoring or amaretto flavoring. Okay, so you don't have to use the alcohol, but that's nobody I know who doesn't. So you can put that in, a little bit of that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to brush the cakes with the rum also. So the cakes will have that flavoring in it. Okay? So I'm going to take, well, I guess I'll have to drink this. You want a little aperitif with dessert? This right there. Okay, I'm going to take my pastry brush, which is a painter's brush. Okay, you buy this pastry brush for like $9 for those things. Okay, you can get 20 of these for $9, and you use them until you can throw them away. You know, I put it right in the dishwasher. So what I'm going to do is going to brush each of the cakes with a little bit of the rum. To give you a heads up, if you have like an empty spray bottle and you have a lot of these to make, you know, like if I do a party and I have like 30 people, you put it in a spray bottle and then you just spritz them. It takes you about 2 seconds. That's one of those things you can give those annoying guests to do also. You know, but that's, you know, that's also an old catering trick. If you have a lot of cakes to brush with, you put it in a bottle. Oh, I think I did that one. That's yours. Okay. You can also go outside in your yard and spritz your mouth when you're sitting in the sun. You know, oh, I thought that was suntan lotion. Nobody will ever know. Okay. Okay. Okay, I'm just trying to use this up. So there you go. Okay. There we go. Now what we're going to take this, and I have some chopped almonds. Okay, you can use almonds, pistachios, pecans, you know, pecans, however you pronounce it, whatever you want. So we'll put that on top. And then here I have some mixed berries that were frozen that I had in my freezer. I defrosted. So plop some of that on top. So here we go. Again, this is, if you wanted to get real fancy with this, you could put this in a piping bag and pipe it on. But by the time you do all that, the people who got it first are already done eating, you know, so. And again, all total do ahead. This is a real easy. And it's nice and light. It's not real heavy, you know. Like that meal you had was pretty heavy. That casserole. So. So basically, what I had is 1 container of Cool Whip and 3 pudding cups. So there are 17 here. So it makes about enough for about 17, 18. So just to give you an idea. Who's kind of skimpy here? Let's see, there we go. Got the rum. Okay, does anybody not want nuts on it? You're nuts.
That's why I don't need it.
Okay, I'll do one without nuts on it. And again, these were whole, almonds. I just put them in a little baggie, and I smacked them with a a can of tomatoes, you know, and just crushed them. And usually I have you know, I'll leave some that, like this that are crushed. You know what you need to do when if you have like nuts and you buy like a big bag like a Sam's Club, put them in little containers and put them in your freezer, okay? Because nuts turn rancid very, very quickly. So if you put them in your freezer, they have a longer shelf life. Okay, there's a lot of oil in it. So once that oil gets out, especially during the summer, you get that oil, and then you get that rancidy taste, and you really can't use them. So there you go, Chuck. Make sure you keep your nuts in the freezer. Okay, do you want me to put this on, or?
Yeah.
You guys are lazy. Jeez, all you want to do is eat. Okay, I'll put this on. This is strawberries, blackberries, and blueberries. So, and it might be a little tart, but the dessert is kind of sweet because this is fresh berries that were just frozen. I suppose I have to go get the spoons for you over there. Berries smell good. This is the one without the nuts. This is yours, okay? Without the nuts, okay? I'll just leave this here. If you want more, you can just help yourself, okay? So there we go. It's 20 of 8. What is it? 5:10 to 8, whatever. So we got through a 4-course meal, and I told you you'd be done by 8 o'clock and eat and out of here. So I hope you use those recipes. Okay, I'll let you come up here, and I'll leave this in case you want any. So there you go. Thanks, and we'll see most of you next week. Well, that was our class for this session, and I hope you enjoyed watching and learned something along the way. If you could not attend the class and are interested in the recipes, you can email me at nrizzo@roadrunner.com. I would like to thank Chautauqua Lake Central School, Mrs. Amy Redmond, all my class participants, and my wife, Kathy, for her support in my many crazy endeavors. Thank you.